All right, I've just finished selling a lot of camera gear. I mean, a lot of camera gear. I've completely sold my entire Canon kit, which definitely hurt, but I'm now overshooting on Sony and I'm loving it. But it's left me with 2 lenses. And to be honest with you, I couldn't be happier. So today I want to run you through exactly why I think as a photographer, you only need 2 lenses to make you happy, get you through, get all the shots you need, and to always stay creatively creative, if you will. All right, so I know what you might be thinking, Zach, this sounds so dumb. What do you mean you only need 2 lenses? What if you're shooting wildlife one week, sports the other week, then interiors, real estate, then portraits? Like, okay, hear me out, okay? This isn't for the person that's shooting everything all the time. This is for the other 99% of us, all right? So, your first lens needs to be something practical. This is the lens you're gonna be using 80 to 90% of the time, and it's gotta be the lens that's gonna get the thing done that you need to get done. Hear me out. This is gonna be different for every single person and what you shoot. So for example, if you're an all-rounder kind of shooter, the 24-70, actually the lens I have right here, is the perfect guy for you. If you shoot a load of landscapes and that's your thing, maybe the 16-35 is for you. And if you're a wildlife photographer, maybe the 100-400 with or without a 2x teleconverter could be up your alley. And maybe if you shoot sports, the 70-200 f2.8 could be for you. The only thing that you need to be considering here is if this lens is gonna be the one that is gonna get the shots that you need to deliver, or the shots that you want to be taking. Maybe you're not doing this professionally, or maybe you are, so maybe you do or don't have deliverables. But either way, if you're a landscape shooter and you're only rocking up with a 600mm prime, far from ideal, okay? Sure, you might be able to snipe out some really interesting compositions, but either way, you need that one core lens that's gonna be able to get you all the shots you need. And a little bit of a spoiler alert, for me, that lens is the 24-70. I've been rocking with a 24-70 for quite a few years now, and for me, this is the perfect lens. Not only do I shoot travel, not only do I shoot portraits, not only do I shoot landscape, not only do I shoot a whole load of things, but for me, the 24 is wide enough, more or less, and the 70, when I punch in, is usually also more than enough. So for me, the 24-70 is the one I keep on my camera 90% of the time, and it gets nearly all of my deliverables out. And of course, this lens also has a 2.8 aperture, which is lovely. So that means it's also going to be keeping that background super blurred out. So yeah, for me, 24-70 is where it's at. Okay, so once you've worked out what that main lens is for you, and it might take a little bit of time to work out, I also don't recommend going out and buying all of the lenses and then coming home, testing them all out and saying, okay, that's the one for me. Now I need to go sell the rest. A little bit of a hack, a little bit of a cheat code, if you will, is to just rent them for a day, 2, or a weekend. And that way you'll be able to get a really good idea of what lens is right for you. Okay, so moving on to your second lens, because remember, we've only got 2 lenses in this kit, and this is going to be something that's fun, and it's gonna be something that can spice up your shots. Now, I know we've just really focused in on deliverables, and as we should as photographers, but remember, photography isn't only about deliverables, it's also about having a load of fun and getting creative at the same time, and that is exactly what this second lens should enable you to do. So for me, this is a low aperture prime lens, but it doesn't have to be for you. Maybe it's a telephoto zoom lens so you can really play around with compression and blow that background out like crazy. Or, who knows, maybe it's a vintage lens. Maybe it's a 20mm f2.8 from Canon 80 years ago. Probably not 80 years ago, but you get the idea. Something super old that has a whole load of character to it. Whatever it may be, this is the lens to have fun with. And of course, you still want this lens to be practical to a degree, but just make sure that you can get creative shots with, and make sure it's the lens that when you put on the front of your camera, you're about to have a whole lot of fun. So you might be sitting there asking yourself, Zach, what is the lens that you like to add spice and flair to your shots with? And for me, that is the 20mm f1.8. See, I love the look of this lens. Not only is it a super wide lens, but you also get to stop down to f1.8, making that blurry background look so tasty. It's also the lens shooting this video right now. And this complements my kit so well. You might also be sitting there thinking to yourself, Zach, you have a 24mm here and you're really gonna just put a 20mm on the front of your camera? Like, is there much of a difference? To me, there is. I use this lens for vlogging and for all these talking head videos, and I love it. And of course, you can only get down to 2.8 here. I've got 1.8 on this lens here, but I also shoot a lot of landscape work. And I love shooting landscape photos and videos. And for me, the 20mm is perfect. I didn't want to get the 16 to 35 f2.8. Not only is f2.8 the same aperture as I have on my 24 to 70, but the 16 to 35 is another big, heavy zoom lens, and I'm moving away from big and heavy gear. Believe me, my back is done with it. And that's why the 20mm f1.8 is kind of my perfect second lens. Not only do I get to vlog and shoot landscapes with it, but I get to play around with that 1.8 aperture, blur the background out, and have a whole load of creative fun alongside. And this is such a beautiful setup. I love it. I've got the deliverable lens, the 24 to 70, the fun lens, the 20mm 1.8, and now when I go out to shoot, I'm not sitting there with 7 lenses in my hand thinking, okay, I don't know what to use now. Like, okay, let's maybe take it. Oh no, I don't really like the telephoto. Okay, let's go really, no, maybe not wide. Nah. All the brain fog is gone. When I go out, I have one lens on one body, one lens on the other, and I'm done. Now, of course, you might not have 2 camera bodies, and that's fine. But now all you've got to think of is, in my situation, wide or everything or wide. Or maybe you've got a 135mm f1.8. What a beauty of a lens that'd be. And then you're thinking, okay, I've got my wide 16 to 35, and then when I want to punch in, I put the other lens on. That's it. There's no more over kind of complicated thoughts that are going on. And what if I want to shoot this? What if I want to shoot that? It's so easy when I go out to shoot now, and I'm coming home with a whole lot more shots as well. This is another big reason I want to simplify my kit, and maybe why you should as well. When I go out to shoot now, I'm coming home with so many more photos and videos because I'm just focusing on shooting, not getting overwhelmed by all my gear. I'm telling you, simplifying your kit is a game changer. So that said, if you're still sitting there and you don't really know what your creative lens might be, I'm gonna put a few recommendations on screen now alongside their prices, because of course you don't wanna be going and blowing $3,000 on a creative, fun lens that you might not use all the time. That would be far from ideal, okay? So just a few recommendations on screen as we speak. But guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap up today's video. If you're new around here, a subscribe would mean the absolute world. If you learned anything, or maybe if you're thinking about downsizing your kit, goodness me, it's been a challenge to speak today. Let me know down below. I'd love to know what you're shooting with, what you're thinking about getting, or what you're thinking about selling. Believe me, it's a very, very nice feeling downsizing that kit. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.